the animal cell in the notebook already.
Sorry, I didn't catch you. Plant and animal cell?
I already drew it.
Okay, ठीक है. Okay. So you did it in school, is it? Because we did not finish no yet to draw.
No, I just did it. Yeah, we did it in school, but I drew it long back.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
starting from
When
we
how much?
finished with
Yes, I'm aware we have completed till Golgi Apparatus. I'm just doing a quick recap because I don't think you must have done a revision, right? So I'm just doing a short recap. Then we start from lysosomes. Okay. Right. So we last class we discussed about cell organelles and we had covered these three. We had covered nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, and Golgi apparatus. We are left with the last four, which is lysozymes or lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids, and vacuoles. Okay, right. So just quick recap. You have endoplasmic reticulum. May you have two types. One is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and one is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The rough one has ribosomes attached to its surface, right? And they become pathways. They function as pathways for the proteins to move around and get across the cell, right? Okay. Then we also saw the extra functions or something else which the smooth endoplasmic reticulum does, which is mainly synthesis of lipids to produce membranes, right? That's all we saw. Then we spoke about, yeah, these were the functions. Then we spoke about the next one, which is the Golgi apparatus. So here I had also told you that whatever is made, I've given you an example of your takeaway systems, right? That once you place an order, there's something is being prepared in the kitchen, right? So here the kitchen is the ribosome. Okay. The pathway from the kitchen till the counter where it is packed, that pathway becomes your endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And if this is your packaging counter, this is nothing but our Golgi apparatus. Right. So all the packaging and storage is happening here till the cell requires the protein. Okay. Yes. So we had spoken about this. Then we had even discussed the structure of the Golgi apparatus. I told you what this term means, from where that name came, what are vesicles, everything about vesicles. That transport inside the cell usually happens via vesicles. All this we had discussed. Yeah, this also same thing. Yeah, next thing. So one important function of the Golgi apparatus was the formation of lysosomes. Okay, lysosomes are also type of cell organelles and they are produced in the Golgi apparatus. That was important. Yeah, so we have stopped here. We have to start from here, right? Okay. Okay, so you can take it down. What are lysosomes? Lysosomes are nothing but membrane bound sacs filled with digestive enzymes. And where are these enzymes made? They are made in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Where is the lysosome made? It is made in the Golgi apparatus. Okay. The lysosome cell organelle has many nicknames. Okay, there are many nicknames for this. Either it is called the janitor of the cell. If you want, I'll just write the nicknames here.
like
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you, Sahil.
lysosome, also known as a suicidal bag.
Yes, correct. Okay, it's known as the janitor of the cell. Then it's also called as the suicide bag of the cell, right? Okay. Nicknames. Put two, right, plural. Okay, done. I think 3 of you are done. Okay, Neve is done. Great. Done. Yes. Now we'll see or we'll look about. Yes, Aliza, you had a question or?
No, I was just saying that I'm done.
Acha, okay, great. Right. Okay, now we look at the function. Why is it called the janitor of the cell? Or why is it called the suicidal bag of the cell? Is what we should look at or what we should understand. Yeah, this slide is important. You can. Okay, you can take down all the points. Under the heading functions. Right, so basically, the job of a janitor is to maintain cleanliness or clean the area properly. That's what a janitor's job would be. So if I'm saying lysosome is the janitor of the cell, so lysosome's job is to keep the cell clean and keep collect the waste from the cell and keep it or clean it off. That's why it is also called a waste disposal system of the cell. Right, and how does it keep it clean is by digesting any foreign material as well as worn out cell organelles. So anything which is floating around, if this is your lysosome, it is a small round shape kind of an organelle. Okay, right. If this is your lysosome and if this is, let's say this is some cell organelle, which is worn out or damaged, just floating around here, then you have some toxic material here or some harmful substances here like this, and you have anything else, any debris floating around. Okay, so the lysosome is going to move like this. It's going to take all this up and clean it, and it will eat it up. Digesting basically means it will eat all this and it will break it down. Okay, and how are they able to eat all this foreign material or worn out organelles, debris, etc., is because they contain very powerful digestive enzymes. Okay, these digestive enzymes are the ones which are manufactured in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. In the previous slide, it was mentioned, right? The digestive enzymes are produced in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. So because of this digestive enzymes itself, lysosome has got its different nicknames. Okay. Now you can connect the suicide bag part of it as well. That what happens is when the cell is in distress, or if the amount of toxic material or harmful substances is very large. So if this is your cell and okay, this is your cell, and let's say there is so much of toxic material around here, right? There is this much toxic material, or you could say just harmful substance. It could be anything which is harming the cell. If there is such a large concentration of it, what the lysosome does is, instead of wasting time digesting each and every thing, which would be it would take a lot of time, and till then the cell would be in constant distress kind of a situation. So instead of doing that, what the lysosome does is it breaks open. Okay, it eats itself, it breaks open, and it releases all its digestive juices here, all the enzymes. Okay, it will release it here, and that enzyme will eventually eat up everything, including the cell itself. That's why it is also known as the suicide bags of the cell. Right? The same thing is being given in technical terms here, but this is the basic concept. When the amount of harmful substance is too much for the lysosome to eat or destroy, the lysosome breaks itself open. Okay, it will break. If this is the lysosome, it will break itself open and all the digestive enzymes will be released like this. Okay, and these enzymes eventually eat up everything, including the cell, which is why the cell will eventually die, right? If the lysosome is going to eat it, the cell will die. This is exactly what this statement says. This is important because you get asked give reasons very frequently, and the give reasons would be state why or give reason why lysosomes are known as the suicide bags of the cell. So your answer is here, that during any disturbance. So what does cellular metabolism basically mean is any cell processes which is happening. It could be anything. Manufacturing of proteins or just transport of proteins. Anything which is happening in the cell is basically called cellular metabolism. Any process. Okay. So if there is any disturbance in any of the processes, like they've given you an example, like when the cell gets damaged. So what the lysosome would do, it will burst so that all the digestive enzymes or the digestive juices are released out, and the enzymes will digest the entire cell. Right? Okay. You can put a star next to this point, like I have put it here. Just put one star so that you know you are supposed to read it and it's important. You can write give reason also next to it. Anything. Let me know once you all are done.
I'm done.
Okay. Is this chapter completed in school or is it still going on?
Done.
Done in school? Right. So from tomorrow onwards, you must be having your summer vacations, isn't it? Or is Saturday working?
From next week.
Oh, so tomorrow Saturday is working, is it?
No, tomorrow we won't have school, but we'll have vacations from next Saturday.
Oh, next Saturday. Acha. Okay. Okay. Done. I think Jaideep is done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Jaideep is also done. Rashmit done?
Yeah, ma'am.
What about Anvesha, Sahil and Kushagra?
I'm almost
I'm done as well.
Okay, okay, almost done. Neve done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Anvesha, let me know once you're done, then we'll go ahead.
I said I'm done. Was I not audible?
Oh, I thought you said you were on the last line. I heard something.
I'm just
Oh, okay, okay. You are on the last line. Sorry. Got confused. Done, Sahil? Can we go ahead?
I'll just tell you, just give me a few minutes.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. If you're not finished, we'll come back to this slide once class is over. Okay. Right. So that was about lysosomes. Next we come on to, next one important thing which you can also note near lysosomes itself. Next to the heading, you can write this point here that it is present only in animal cells. I forgot almost. Right. Present only in animal cells. Okay. Why is it present only in animal cells? Is because if we go back to the initial part of the chapter where I told you that plant cells have something called as the cell wall, correct? If this is your plant cell, it has a cell wall. This is the cell wall. Okay. Whereas what happens in animal cells is you just have one membrane which is called the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, correct? So this is, if this is the plant cell, then you have the cell membrane inside here. Now, if you remember the function of the cell wall, one of its major functions was to provide protection. Do you remember? Yes, right. Okay. So in plant cells, what happens is the cell wall and the cell membrane. So there's already a two-layered protection provided in the plant cells, which is why harmful substances cannot really easily enter inside the plant cells. Whereas what happens in animal cells is because there's only the cell membrane, there needs to be a check on all the harmful substances or any toxic substances which are entering inside. Because there's an absence of, you can just use the analogy of, as having two doors, something like that. If you have two doors to enter a place, any place, your house or any other place, right? The two doors provide extra security compared to a single door. Same thing you can apply for the cells as well. So these two membranes provide extra security or extra protection to the plant cells, which is why they don't really require lysosomes. There's not that much harmful substance or toxic substance entering the cell. Yes, Rashmi, you had a question?
So ma'am, basically because of the cell wall, no harmful substances are there, so that's why no lysosomes are needed.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Precisely.
Okay.
Okay. So because of the cell wall, you don't really require lysosomes in plant cells. Right. This I have given you for your explanation. Usually you only need to know that lysosome is present only in animal cell. This is sufficient. They will not ask you why, but this is for your understanding that when you are reading or when you get the question that why this is so, so you should be clear on it that okay, because in plant cells we have two membranes or two layered protection already there. There is not much need of lysosomes. Okay. Yeah, this question is usually asked as a MCQ question as name the cell organelle which is present only in animal cell. So there is lysosomes for at least till now, or at this level you need to remember only lysosomes. There are a few more as well, something called centrioles, etc. But you're not studying them now. So the only answer to that question is lysosomes. Okay. Right, moving ahead. Yes, next we come to the mitochondria. Very important. Okay. Mitochondria nickname, it's also called the powerhouse of the cell, right? And it has two membranes. Yes, you can write everything. Everything is important. Okay. This is the nickname. And the two membranes are basically, there is one outer porous membrane, which if you see in this figure is basically this bluish colored dark bluish colored layer. If you couldn't see here, this thing is the outer membrane. Okay, this is the outer membrane. And the inner membrane is folded. It is given folds like this, right? If you see in the figure, this is the inner membrane. This folds, or this is the inner membrane, which is folded. And they are given you a reason also why is it folded. It is just to increase the surface area. I think I had explained, right? Now I'm confused whether I explained you all or I explained grade 10. Okay, I'll explain again. Think of it like this. If I'm keeping something straight like this, okay, so what is my surface available is this much. Okay, what if the membrane was not folded and if it was just straight, this would be my only surface available. Basically there would be two surfaces, one on the inner side, one on the outer side available. Okay, now what happens when I fold it like this is now you have more surface, right? This entire thing and this entire thing, this entire thing and this entire thing, basically so on and so forth, right? So when you fold anything like this, the surface area increases, and the why is surface area important is for chemical reactions. So maybe in future when we do chemistry a little bit in detail, you will learn that reactions happen on a particular some, what do I call it? Okay, the technical term for it is substrate, but they need some kind of a surface to occur, all reactions. Okay, so if this reaction can, if you are giving it this small space, the amount of product you will get will be lesser. But if you are increasing the surface area, more reaction can occur, and hence whatever you are looking for, whatever the product you are trying to get, you will get more of it. Okay, that is the only reason we want more surface area, right? Yes, this concept of why surface area or more surface area is important, we'll come across it again when we study the next bio chapter, which is tissues. Okay, in tissues you will learn about another structure called villi, which is present in our small intestines, etc. Okay, villi also have the same function. Okay, they are called villi. They are also folds like this, and their function is also the same. They are basically made into such kind of folds just to increase the surface area so that food is absorbed faster. Okay, right. Yeah, so if you, in case you want to understand why surface area is more, you can take this down. Otherwise, not required. It's for your understanding only. Okay. Okay, now you might have a question, what is ATP, right? For that we have to study what is the function of mitochondria. So I'll come to the function which is on the next slide, and then I'll tell you what is ATP. Okay. Sometimes they ask you to label this diagram, which is why I added it here. Drawing though is included when you draw the whole cell. Of course, you'll be drawing some version of a mitochondria as well. But this individually, sometimes they ask you to label it. So you must know that the outer membrane, what is the outer membrane? What is the inner membrane? Basically, this folded structure you must know. And you must know, right, that these folds are called cristae. Right, other things are not required. You don't need to know what is DNA, granules, etc. Matrix, I think you must be aware, right? When I did cytoplasm, I told you all multiple times that, everything, there is a fluid-like substance in which things float. It's not just vacuum or anything like that, right? So the fluid-like substance in which either the cell organelles float, that is in case of cytoplasm. Here you have granules and other substances which are floating inside here. So that's why it is called a matrix. Like in blood, you will have plasma. So everywhere, whenever there is something floating, there will be a fluid-like substance present, and that is called matrix. Okay. Even in chloroplast, you will come across something called matrix. Okay. Matrix, however you pronounce it, doesn't matter. Just make sure the spellings are correct. Okay. And one more thing here, don't get confused between cisterns and cristae. They sound same. They, the spelling is also quite similar, but don't get confused between these two, cisterns and cristae. Cisterns are basically containers for holding water. Remember like that. Okay, and cristae are the folds. I can give you one hint to remember. Just make cisterns. Okay, cisterns has one N, right? So just make that ulta N, this becomes like a container. So remember like that. So which one will have a container? It will be Golgi apparatus. Mitochondria does not store anything. Okay. Okay, have you taken this down? Can I go ahead? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Roshni is done. Okay. Aliza is also done.
Done, ma'am.
Done. Okay. Done. Okay. Sahil, are you done? Or are you still writing?
I'm done.
Done. Okay. Right. Yes. So this is basically the functions of mitochondria. Again, everything important, please write it. Okay. These are the functions. This is another point which is not exactly a part of the function. You can once you finish writing the functions, leave a line and then take this down. So the functions stop at this. Just an extra point about mitochondria. Right. Okay. So why is mitochondria called the powerhouse of the cell? Right. I'm not sure. Do you all like memes, or do you all go browse memes, etc. or not? But recently, if you see, everywhere they are criticizing, right, that we learn mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell in school and we don't know what to do of it, isn't it? That is a question which is again floating. It keeps coming up multiple times, like once after a while it dies down and then again they'll float the same thing again, that okay, why are we learning all this? Okay, so the reason you are learning this, or the importance of learning why mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, is because the fact that you are able to sit and see that meme itself is thanks to the mitochondria, or the fact that you are able to sit and listen to the lecture or take down your notes, etc. So basically mitochondria is the one which is going to provide you energy to do any task, right? And of course you must be knowing physics, chemistry, and now even bio. You must know that energy is required for anything to happen, isn't it? So if mitochondria is not there, or if you don't know that mitochondria is the one powering your cell and in turn powering you, right? So without that, there will be nothing. We'll just be dead, all of us, isn't it? Okay. So that's why it is important. Again, I'm not going to the part that is it important to know why it is or not, but this is important, that why mitochondria is given such high importance would be, okay, I've used the word importance in my sentence like 6 to 7 times. Okay, why mitochondria is given such special status, let us use different words, right, is because it gives you energy to perform all required tasks, all, from A to Z. It could be anything at your cellular level, right? Or it could be anything, the fact that I'm speaking right now, that the fact that you're writing, the fact that you're awake, anything is thanks to the mitochondria. So imagine that there are so many mitochondria in your body which are working tirelessly to supply you and give you whatever energy you require whenever you require it, isn't it? Okay. Yes, so the main function of mitochondria would be giving you energy. And that energy, or basically, when you talk about any quantity, right, by now that we use units. We don't say, I am traveling with the speed of 5. You use some unit next to it. You say 5 meter per second or 5 kilometer per hour. Or when I give you money, okay, suppose I'm giving one of you money for answering, for giving the correct answer. So I'm giving you some prize money. So I'll say I'm giving you 10. I have to put something next to it, right? I'm giving you 10 rupees. I can't just say I'm giving you 10. 10 what? Right? So you know by now that we use units for everything. Similarly, for energy also, you need units. You can't say I'm supplying you with 3 energy. What is 3 energy? That doesn't make any sense. Correct? So in biology, when specifically you're talking about respiration, so respiration is the process, where you get energy. Again, you learn this in grade 10 next year. Okay. So in this process, the unit of energy is ATP. Why am I stressing on all these words is because now only, I'm not sure, maybe you must have finished motion in physics, right? So in physics, there is one more chapter called work power energy. Okay, there you will study that the unit of energy is joule or kilojoule. So you might come and ask me, ma'am, why did you say that unit of energy is ATP? We learned it is joule. Which is it? Why are you confusing us? Right? So in physics terms, that energy is different. Correct? This energy is different. Why? Because it is powering your cell. So you can think of it some kind of like a biological source of energy. Okay. In that context, the unit is ATP. So both units are correct. When you study physics, the fact that you study joule, kilojoules, etc., that is correct. And when you're studying ATP here, that is also correct. Okay. So when you do come across this unit, don't get confused that why are we learning so many units of the same thing. Okay. Right. So ATP is the unit of energy, or it's basically called the energy currency of the cell. And this is the full form. It's called adenosine triphosphate. Okay, right. Yeah, at this stage, you don't need to remember more. You will have more on ATP next year when we do, respiration, etc. in detail. We learn little bit more about ATP. But for now, all you need to remember is where is ATP produced? It will be produced in the mitochondria. And what is it? It is the energy currency of the cell. Okay, right. Okay, now what does this last point tell you? The last point is very interesting is because when we started the chapter, I explained, different types of cells. We spoke about unicellular and multicellular cells, correct? And we also spoke about eukaryotes and prokaryotes, correct? This was with respect to the nucleus, whether they have a true nucleus or whether they have nucleoid or, just the nuclear material floating around their cell, right? So that time I told you that most of the bacteria are prokaryotes. Okay. Now why this point becomes important or why is this interesting is because mitochondria and chloroplast both existed as bacteria at one point of time. Okay. Now when I say both existed as bacteria at one point of time, which meant that they had their own material, nuclear material. If you remember the diagram of a prokaryotic cell. Okay, it was something like this. There was one tail-like structure hanging around here, some cilia here like this, and you have your nuclear material inside here. Okay, same color. Okay, yeah, your nuclear material floating inside like this. Okay, so I am saying that mitochondria and chloroplast many years ago. Okay, many some you can say some at least some 1,000 years ago, mitochondria and chloroplast existed as bacteria. So this becomes interesting because they have their own DNA and their own ribosomes. Okay. So if I'm telling you the cell, you have a nucleus, right? This is what we studied. That the nucleus contains all your genetic information, it contains your DNA, etc. everything. Correct. And ribosomes are the ones floating around in the cell and attached to your rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. Now, when I'm telling you that they have their own DNA and ribosomes, which means these two structures are present inside the mitochondria and inside the chloroplast individually as well. Okay. So this is the importance, or I would say the interesting fact about this. So because they have their own DNA and their own proteins or their own ribosomes, which means they can make their own proteins. Ribosomes are a protein manufacturing sites, isn't it? So that's why they can make their own proteins. Sometimes they ask you a question like, which organelles can make their own protein. So you should be knowing the answer is both mitochondria and chloroplast. Correct? Both of them can do this function. Okay. Understanding more about why this is important, or why does this fact make mitochondria so fascinating, that you would be doing, or coming across in a later stage, after maybe after 12th or something. If you do take up bio, you will learn that time, that why do we keep saying that, how this makes them unique. Okay. For now, just remember that mitochondria and chloroplast are two organelles which can make their own proteins. Okay. Right. I think everybody is done. Done, right? Can I go ahead?
No, just a minute.
Okay. What happened? You all switched off your cameras again. Just for 5 minutes, you all switched it on. I know it is the initial part of the classes, so everything is new, friends are new, everything must be new to you. That's why you all seem shy, I guess. Maybe when I see you all after the summer vacation, I will see a different version. Is it? Okay. Okay, done. Can I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sahil, done? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. Right, the next cell organelle you need to know is what are plastids. Okay, so plastids are the broad term given for these organelles. This is basically nothing but chloroplast. Okay, chloroplast belongs to a family of organelles called plastids. Why is it a family, or why is chloroplast a part of them, is because of this here. Because you have different types of plastids. Some of them are colored, where you have chloroplast, right? An example of chloroplast or chromoplast, which contain uh, chlorophyll pigment, and some other types which are just for storage purposes, like leucoplasts. Okay, right. So these are present only in plant cells, right? Like cell walls till now, cell wall, and now you learned that chloroplast, or you can say plastid, that's better. Okay, these two are present only in plant cells. Now you've learned that, right? Just like mitochondria, plastids also have their own DNA and ribosomes. I just told you, right? Those two are the only organelles which can make their own proteins, basically. Okay. Yes, you can take all of this down. Here, this is important because they ask you in the form of MCQs. They'll ask you what is the name of the plastid which stores starch, oils, and proteins. So you should be able to answer leucoplasts. Okay, they are white or colorless. And chromoplast, chroma usually refers to color. Okay, the word chroma refers to color. So these will be providing color. So the next time you see anything, if you see a reddish yellow leaf or a reddish green leaf, then you must tell yourself, or you must look at it and you must observe and say, yeah, this must be containing a red chromoplast, isn't it? Apart from chlorophyll, because all leaves definitely contain chlorophyll, but apart from that, it also has something which is giving it the red color. Or let's say you see a yellow leaf or a green and white leaf, any colored leaf for that matter, right? The word plast is coming from plastids. So chroma is color and plast is coming from plastids. Same thing for leuco. Leuco usually refers to anything to do with starch, oils, etc. From there that word leuco has come. Right, and something to do with white and colorless, both. So it is used in both contexts. Right. Okay. You can see Roshmit is still writing. Others, you all are done?
Almost, ma'am. Last point.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Great. Done? Okay.
I'm done.
Done? Okay.
I'm done as well.
Great. Okay. Let's go ahead then. The function of plastids. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I did not add one. Right. So you can add the function here only. I'll write it here. Function is basically function of chloroplast is to perform photosynthesis. Right. For the other ones, the broad function is given here. The chloroplast, they are ones which contain colors or they contain pigments, right? That's all is their function. And leucoplast function is to store these things. So if they ask you functions in particular, you can write all this. If they ask in general what plastids do, they either store things. They usually store things or they impart color. Chloroplast in specific terms is the only one which will be performing photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is basically the the technical term by which plants make their own food, isn't it? They use light and carbon dioxide to make their own food. Okay, and this is a basic diagram of a chloroplast. Again, this is for your knowledge because sometimes they ask you to label it, and of course you must know the basic versions of all diagrams. Only then you'll be able to draw a plant cell or animal cell, right? So by default you have to know a basic version of them. You don't have to make 3D sketches or anything, right? Okay, so even chloroplasts have two layers, inner membrane, outer membrane, right? But here there is no folds, etc. But you'll observe a stack like structure like this. Okay, there'll be stack of coins which are arranged together like this, and you can make branches kind of thing which are connecting one stacks to the other. right? Okay. Yes, that much is important. If you know, it is all specific labelings are not asked yet. You're not supposed to, you're not that focused on what is granules, what is lamella, etc. Not asked. Just know that it looks like this, that there will be coins or stacks of round structures like this connected together. Is sufficient. Okay. Right. Now we just need to know the difference, difference between chloroplast versus mitochondria. So similarity, I told you that both have their own types of proteins, both have their own DNA, own ribosomes. Both were initially bacteria and then they became cell organelles, right? But what is the difference between the two? So this is the main difference. Main difference is that, okay, one difference would be, I'm just writing it here, you can take down, chloroplast versus mitochondria, right? So just one main difference is this is found in plant cells, correct? This is found in both. Okay, found in both plant and animal cells. Okay, I'll write. Right, and another important difference you need to know is this, that chloroplast makes food. Okay, makes food, or you can write photosynthesis in bracket, right, or in the main point, anything, right? Whereas mitochondria breaks down food. Okay, this is B. Breaks down food, and the technical term for this is respiration. These are the main 2 points of difference you must know, right? That's sufficient, because their structure is also a little bit similar. Their the way they have come into being is also a little bit similar, but the major difference is that one prepares food and one breaks down food. Okay. Done?
No, I'm just wondering.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay.
I'm done.
Done. Great. Okay. Go ahead. Yes. Next we have vacuoles, right? Okay. What are vacuoles? They are basically nothing but they are not exactly organelles because they don't perform any specific function. They are just, you can think of like storage sacks, like refrigerators. Think of them like refrigerators. Yeah, but instead of keeping things cool, they just store. Or yeah, like cupboards also you can think of them, right? Cupboards or refrigerators. They just store stuff which it can either be solid content or it can be liquid content. Again, based on what the plant needs to store that time. Okay, and it is the main difference between the vacuole in plant cell and the vacuole in animal cell is this, that animal cell will have a smaller vacuole. So if this is your animal cell, the vacuole will be something like this small, right? Whereas in plant cell, they've shown it to you here, that it will occupy at least 50 to 90% of the space in plant cells. This becomes important when you are drawing the diagram. So you have to keep that in mind when you are drawing the diagram, that the vacuole has to be small in animal cells and it has to be large in plant cells.
It's large in plant cell because it gives the plants the rigidity they require.
Yes, yes, definitely. Right. You can take down all 4 points. So in plant cells, the two specific points would be that it is going to be almost 50 to 90% of the cell and it is going to be full of cell sap. So cell sap is nothing but the liquid in the plant cell. Okay, this is sap is referred to as the liquid or the fluid in plants. Okay, so cell sap is the cell liquid or cell fluid. Again, not many questions are asked on vacuoles. Either they'll give you, one marker kind of questions and name the, name the storage sacs in cells. So you should say vacuoles. And the other points that, that it is small in animal cell and large in plant cell, that is tested when they directly ask you to draw the plant and animal cell itself. Okay. Done, I think. Most of you finished. Done, right? Can I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Right. So these are the functions. Yeah, like Sahil gave one important function already. Right? It provides turgidity and rigidity to the cell. Basically, this refers to that it will maintain the cell shape. Helps in maintaining cell shape so that the cell doesn't break down. All the things which I discussed initially, right? How the wall pressure, turgor pressure helps. So that turgor pressure makes the cell turgid. It's called turgid, right? And rigid, of course, rigid would definitely mean, it can't change its shape very easily. So the vacuole will be the one which will help doing this. This is more in plant cells. Animal cells, it is already very tiny. It will not contribute that much, but yeah, more in plant cells. And it stores important substances. So anything, it could be, one among these. So that, yeah, if you want, you can take it down better. Okay. In amoeba, it contains the food that the amoeba just consumed. So same thing, but they gave you an example of a unicellular organism, right? What happens in a unicellular organism is what they're trying to tell you. So amoeba looks something like this, right? It is shapeless and it is a single-celled organism, which is also called as a unicellular organism. Okay. And how does it eat? Is basically it moves around like this, and then wherever it sees food, it will make some sort of a vesicle kind of thing around it like this, and it'll take it up and it will put that food in a food vacuole. Okay, that's what they're trying to say. That in amoeba, it is the food which will be stored in the food vacuole. Right. In some other unicellular organism, it can also expel waste and excess water from the cell. These two, the first 2 points are important. The last 2 is okay if you skip it also. General functions of vacuoles are important. Storage and providing turgidity or rigidity, or basically even if you write the word, maintaining cell shape is good enough. Done? Okay, writing. Okay, shall I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So now all of you can answer these few questions. Basically, there will just be nicknames which are going to come up on the screen, and you can help me or you can identify, right? You can tell me what will be the correct cell organelle for this thing. Right? Just recap of whatever we've done till now. There's everything which is there, which you learned in today's class or in the previous class, because we did 3 organelles before. Okay, let's see who gets maximum correct. Right. Yes, name the organelles. Which is the transporting channel of the cell? ER. Right. All of you can answer. It's okay. It's not like fastest finger first kind of thing. ER. Correct. Next we have, which is the powerhouse?
Mitochondria.
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 Mitochondria. Yes. Very good. Next
You
we
should
have,
make it like fastest finger first. So like whoever raises their hand first should go first.
yeah, that we'll do when we do, next time when we have revision session. No, I have made Kahoots, etc. for you all. We'll do that time. This is just
Okay,
to
this is the
see.
Golgi body.
Okay. What about the others? Which is this?
Golgi body.
Correct.
Golgi bodies.
Correct. Yes. This is just to test your understanding. What are you all are saying? No, we'll play that game when we do revision. Too early to play right now, right? Okay. Golgi apparatus or Golgi body? Apparatus. Anything or complex also. Next, you have digestive bag of the cell.
Lysosomes.
Correct. Lysosomes. Storage sac.
Vacuoles.
Vacuoles.
Excellent. Control room of the cell.
Nucleus.
Nucleus.
Very good. Yes, so that was it. There are only 7. Right? Okay. Yeah, there are. There's one more, I think, which I did not include, which was plastid. Correct. So, yeah, these are just important. This was just to see whether you all were listening in class or you all understood or not. For that reason, a tiny quiz has been added, and just not to make it seem boring that I am only talking all the time. So, for that reason, when we do revision, no, I have 2-3 Kahoots I think on this chapter. So when we do revision, we'll play Kahoot. That time we'll keep track of scores and we'll play properly. Right. Yeah, and this is the last part of the chapter, which is basically cell division. Okay, why are we learning this is if you go back to our first slide when we studied about cell theory, right? We learned one part or one statement of the cell theory was all cells come from pre-existing cells itself. Correct. So this is added for you to understand how that happens. How all cells are coming from pre-existing cells itself. Okay. This happens by the process of cell division. Okay. So this is the definition. Cell division is the process by which new cells are made. Okay. Yes. And another thing you must know is that there are 2 types. One is called mitosis and one is called meiosis. Be careful of the spelling. MEIOSIS. Okay. And mitosis. What is the difference between the two is mainly 2 points. I will okay, let me write it here better. Mitosis and this is meiosis. Correct. The main 2 points of difference are that mitosis occurs in body cells. Okay. These are also called somatic cells, but body cells is sufficient, right? And these occur in gametes or sex cells. Occur in gametes. Right. Okay. Another thing you must know is, I made this too. Sorry. Right. Second point you must know is that meiosis is an equational division. And mitosis is an equational division and meiosis is a reductional division. Actually, I add one more point. I'll put it here. Okay, I'm putting point 3 here. Point 3 is 2 daughter cells are produced. Okay, and in case of meiosis, 4 daughter cells are produced.
So
Sorry, somebody said something. Meiosis, and this is mitosis, right? Okay, I just take down the definition you took down, right? 2 types also take down these 3 points, then I'll tell you what is this equational division, what is this daughter cell, etc. What does all that mean? I'll just tell you. Done.
Ma'am, in meiosis, after cell 46 chromosomes is has undergone division, there's 23. But then when the 23 chromosome cell goes under division, then it's still 23.
Yes, correct. So that is the speciality of meiosis. Okay, that in the first division, only in the first division. So meiosis, what happens? No, this first division is where it undergoes reduction, or basically the number of chromosomes will become half. The second division which occurs, which is this part, is nothing but mitosis which is happening. That's why there will be no reduction.
Okay.
All that I think you will learn little bit, no, not even next year. You will learn after 11th. Yeah, in 11th you will learn a little bit more on meiosis, mitosis. Why? Because you need to understand what is chromosome number, why is it getting halved, all that. No, that all you will learn next year. That what is chromosome number, where there are 46 chromosomes, where there are lesser than that, or just 23. All that you will learn next year. Then following that you will learn the steps of mitosis and why meiosis, mitosis are different, or what exactly happens in. So for now, you just need to know the general overview that okay, meiosis happens in body cells, meiosis happens in gametes, mitosis happens in body cells, that information. And in mitosis, 2 daughter cells are produced, and meiosis, 4 are produced. These 2 points are sufficient actually for you to know. The second point I just gave it for a precaution measure, that in case they ask you one more point, you can just write that down. Okay. Right. So what are basically daughter cells, right? So when a cell divides, whenever you see any cell division or any kind of division happening, when the cell divides and gives rise to 2 new cells, or it could be 4 new cells. Okay. The new cells are basically called daughter cells. Okay. This is called a parent cell, the one undergoing division, right? And the one it divides into is called the daughter cell. So now you can understand when I say in mitosis, what happens is there is one cell. Okay, better color. Let me take some brighter, better color. Okay, pink. Right, there's one cell which divides and gives you 2 daughter cells. Right. Whereas in meiosis, what happens is, yeah, like if you see here only, this is mitosis. And this is meiosis happening. right? And meiosis, what happens is there's one parent cell which will eventually end up giving you 4 daughter cells. How it gives you 4 is not important right now, but you will get 4 daughter cells. That information is important, right? Okay. What is equational division and reductional division is basically, if you see here, right? If you see 46 is maintained as 46 only, it is maintained equal. Okay, that's what equational means. And reductional basically means, if you see 46, if you divide 46 by 2, you get 23, right? So reductional is basically it's become half. So that's the second point. I would not like to elaborate more on the second point because for that you have to understand a lot more things. So not required to get into that. Remember these 2 points, that where do they occur and how many daughter cells are produced. That is very, very important. Remember these 2 points. I put a tick mark also, it got lost now in all the things I wrote. Okay. Yeah, these 2 points. First and the third point. Right. Okay, now we just have to see a few, a few pointers, like, which place, which organelles are for plant cells and which are exclusively for animal cells, etc. Right? Yeah, like if you see the Venn diagram here. So basically, they're just telling you gamete cells are nothing but the sperm and egg cells. Okay, they are what are called the gamete cells. So meiosis occurs only there, and mitosis happens in all other body cells. It could be your skin, it could be your ear, nose, eye, anything, any small tissue also, everything mitosis occurs. Okay, this is just for your understanding, not required to be taken down. And one more, which is for which organelles are present where. Yeah, this one. This also is there in the chapter notes, but this is just to again explain it to you. And like I mentioned, isn't it? Chloroplast and cell walls are the only exclusive ones which are present in plant cells. These are not organelles which are mentioned. These are just features mentioned, right? So that we don't want to focus on. We want to focus on organelles. So chloroplasts and cell walls are 2 organelles which are present exclusively in plant cells. Correct? And in animal cells, you have lysosomes, which is not there in plant cells. All the others are there in both. Whatever you have studied are there in both. Right? Yeah. Again, not required to be taken down. This is if you had taken this down, the points that I told you, that these 2 are there in the plant cell, I told you in the chloroplast slide, and on the lysosome slide, I told you to take down present only in animal cell. Correct? That would be sufficient. Out of this, in the initial part of the chapter only, we learned that every cell has a nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. So irrespective of the location, function, whatever, size, shape, anything you take of the cell, every cell will have a cytoplasm, cell membrane, and nucleus. Correct. Yes. Yeah. Apart from this, of course, the diagrams are highly important. Okay, these are just some concept maps I've added for you when you revise. So when you're doing revision, just make sure you've covered all the points. For that reason, this concept map is there. Not required right now. No, we just did the whole chapter, so you obviously know what all is there. But when you do revision, you might tend to forget some parts. So just cross check that did you study everything from here or not. Right? Yeah. And of course, at the end of the PPTs, you will find one slide which has a lot of videos. So this is for your reference. So anytime you feel you did not understand any particular topic and you need some immediate explanation, right? Before class or before we have a revision session, you can watch any of these videos. These are less than 5-minute long videos. And yeah, the ones which I find interesting only I've accumulated. They're not all possible videos. So yeah, you can see all those. Okay. And this is for your information. This is important, right? Plant cell and animal cell diagram. I thought we'll do it in class only, but I don't think we have time to draw. Right. Where would this PPT be uploaded? I'll share it on the group. I'll share it on the group as a PPT only, so that you can click on the links wherever the video links are there. You can directly click on them and watch the video. I'll share it today only because we are done with the chapter, right? I'll share. Make sure that you are one task for you before submitting your notes, right? Okay. Before submitting your notes, please draw plant cell and animal cell diagram. Okay, then submit. It's very important from this chapter. You can draw whichever you are comfortable with. It's not necessary you have to draw the one here or you have to draw the one in the textbook only. This is the same as the textbook one. So draw, even if you find a simple diagram online on, if you Google and get one, draw any one. Just make sure the organelles that we have studied, right? We studied 8 organelles, correct? And yeah, wherever it is applicable in plant or animal cell, make sure the organelles are there. That is important. Your diagram, whether it is 3D or 2D or it's very, it's just a rough sketch, that does not really matter. Keep it neat and make sure that all the organelles, the relevant organelles which we have studied are there. Organelles, cell envelopes, whatever is there. Make sure of that. That's all. Neat diagram. So yeah, this is your tiny task before you submit your notes. Please make sure you do this and then submit it. Yeah. So you can submit by end of the day. Yes.
So you have to draw all the cell organelles and all and submit, right?
Yeah, no, you just have to make one plant cell and one animal cell. So in that, all these organelles will be covered, right? You don't have to draw them separately.
Okay, miss. Thank you, miss.
Okay, right. Yes. So yeah, with that, we've completed our chapter. Yes. So you can, during your vacation, I'm not sure if we have a bio class next week or not. But yeah, before the next bio class, which would likely be, after your vacation, make sure you have studied this chapter properly. Okay. Because even when we start tissues, which is the next chapter, understanding this would be important before you go to tissues, right? So take your summer vacation, read the PPT, read the chapter notes, your notes, etc. and, understand the chapter properly. Okay, cool. Okay. Right. Yeah. So if you have taken down everything, we can end our session. We're done.
Yes, ma'am, we've taken down it.
Okay. Bye bye. See you all.
Bye, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.